When I was 16, I became obsessed with computers, not games, not social media, cybersecurity. I spent hours learning how websites worked, how hackers broke into systems, and more importantly, how companies protected themselves. My room was covered with notes, networking diagrams, and programming books. But my parents didn't see a future. They saw danger. Every time they walked into my room and saw lines of code scrolling across my screen, they'd ask the same question. What are you really doing? No matter how many times I explained ethical hacking, bug bounties, or cybersecurity, they wouldn't listen. To them, a hacker was a criminal. End of story. The arguments got worse every year. Then, on my 18th birthday, everything exploded. My father pointed at the door and said, "If you want to live like a hacker, do it somewhere else." I thought he was bluffing. He wasn't. That night, I packed a backpack and left. No dramatic goodbye. No one stopped me. No one called. For months, I slept on friends' couches, worked odd jobs, and studied whenever I could. There were nights when I wondered if they had been right. Maybe I was wasting my life, but I kept going. One certification became two became 5. Then came my first cybersecurity contract, then another. Years passed. Slowly, the life everyone said was impossible became real. By 28, I had built a cybersecurity company with clients across multiple countries. The same people who once laughed at my dreams were now asking for advice. Then one afternoon, my receptionist called. "There's a couple here asking to see you." When I walked into the lobby, my heart nearly stopped. My parents, older, nervous, quiet. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then my father finally said, "We're proud of what you've built." The words I'd wanted to hear for 10 years. 10 years too late. After a few minutes of awkward conversation, my mother slid a resume across the table. My younger brother's. She smiled and said, "He's looking for a job. We were hoping you could hire him." Suddenly, everything made sense. They hadn't come to reconnect. They had come because they needed something. I looked at the resume, then at them. 10 years of memories flooded back. The accusations, the insults, the night I stood outside with nowhere to go. They waited for my answer. Finally, I spoke. "I'll interview him like every other applicant." Their smiles disappeared. They had expected a shortcut, a favor, special treatment. I continued. "Nobody gets a job here because they're family. They earn it." A week later, my brother came for the interview. He was honest, prepared, hardworking. And unlike the rest of the family, he had always believed in me. So I hired him, not because he was my